The year was 2023, and Donald Trump sat alone in his Mar-a-Lago office, his eyes fixed intently on the satellite images spread across his mahogany desk. The room was silent except for the soft hum of multiple screens, displaying real-time data from across the United States. As the former president who had overseen more environmental impact statements than any other leader in American history, he'd seen countless reports. But this was different. "The fires aren't natural," he muttered, his fingers tracing the unusual patterns on the digital map of California. "They're following America's wealth, our resources, but nobody's seeing it." His mind flashed back to his presidency, to all those meetings about American energy independence, about the tremendous wealth lying beneath American soil. "I've done more environmental impact statements than anybody," Trump's voice echoes from a past conference. "I want clean air, I want clean water." The footage cuts off as we return to the present, where Trump's discovery would shake the foundation of everything we thought we knew about America's natural disasters. The pattern was there, right in front of everyone's eyes, but only Trump, with his unique experience in both environmental assessments and America's energy sector, could see it. The wildfires weren't just random acts of nature. They were following a precise path, a path that aligned perfectly with America's most valuable energy resources. "Look at this," Trump's voice carries a tone of urgent discovery. "These fires, they're avoiding our LNG facilities, our major energy production sites. It's like they're being guided, controlled. But who would have the power to do this? And more importantly, why?" What Trump uncovered that day would not only challenge everything we thought we knew about environmental disasters, but would also reveal a shocking truth about America's enemies and their attempts to undermine our energy independence. The very independence that Trump had fought so hard to achieve during his presidency. But before I reveal what Trump discovered and how it connects to his warnings about foreign interests threatening American resources, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because what happens next will make you question everything you've been told about America's natural disasters, our energy independence, and the real forces trying to control our nation's tremendous wealth. The truth? It's been hidden right under our feet, just like the tremendous wealth Trump always talked about. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And trust me, after you learn what Trump uncovered, you'll never look at a wildfire the same way again. This is a story about power, resources, and a conspiracy so vast it threatens the very foundation of American energy independence. To understand what Trump discovered that day, we need to go back to when America was becoming the world's #1 energy producer. Trump had always known about the tremendous wealth beneath American soil. He'd seen it firsthand through countless environmental impact statements, more than any president before him. "The United States has tremendous wealth," Trump had said during a crucial summit. "The wealth is under its feet. I've made that wealth come alive." And he wasn't wrong. Under his leadership, America had transformed into an energy powerhouse, exporting LNG across Europe and developing resources that previous presidents couldn't even touch. Remember Anwar in Alaska? Reagan couldn't get it approved. Nobody could. But Trump did. He understood something fundamental about America's resources that others had missed. It wasn't just about the oil or the gas, it was about independence, about protecting America's tremendous wealth from those who would try to control it. But with this wealth came enemies, forces that didn't want to see America energy independent, forces that would do anything to maintain their control over global energy markets. And that's where the wildfires come in. Trump had noticed something peculiar while reviewing satellite data of California's wildfires. The patterns weren't random. They weren't following the usual paths that natural fires would take. Instead, they were moving with precision, with purpose, avoiding key energy infrastructure while threatening others. "I want clean air, I want clean water," Trump had always said. But what he discovered in those satellite images suggested something far more sinister. Someone was using environmental disasters as a weapon against America's energy independence. As he dug deeper into the data, patterns began to emerge. The wildfires weren't just destroying forests, they were strategically targeting areas crucial to America's energy infrastructure. Areas that Trump had fought hard to develop, areas that had made America energy independent. "I'm an environmentalist," Trump had declared. "A lot of people don't understand that." And he was right. While others were focused on windmills and solar panels, Trump had seen the bigger picture. He understood that true environmental protection meant protecting America's resources from those who would exploit them. The evidence was mounting. The satellite data showed it clearly. These weren't just wildfires. They were calculated attacks on America's energy independence. But who was behind them? And more importantly, what were they trying to achieve? As Trump studied the patterns, one thing became crystal clear. This was bigger than just California. This was about America's future, about protecting the tremendous wealth that lay beneath our feet. Someone was trying to destroy what he had built, and they were using nature itself as their weapon. The truth began to unfold on a quiet evening when Trump was reviewing energy production data from across the nation. As the former president who had transformed America into an energy superpower, he knew these numbers better than anyone. But something wasn't adding up. "Look at these production numbers," Trump had said to his advisors. "We're the #1 energy producer in the world, soon to be by far the #1. But someone's trying to stop that." He pulled up a map showing America's major energy corridors, overlaying it with the wildfire patterns from the past year. The correlation was impossible to ignore. Every major fire outbreak coincided perfectly with crucial energy infrastructure developments. Areas where America was expanding its LNG capabilities, regions where new pipelines were being planned, all under threat from supposedly natural disasters. Trump's experience with environmental impact statements, hundreds of them throughout his career, had given him a unique perspective. He could see patterns that others missed, connections that others overlooked, and what he saw in those maps sent a chill down his spine. "They said I didn't understand the environment." Trump's voice was firm as he examined the data. "But I understand more about the environment than most people. I want clean air, I want clean water, but I also want a wealthy country, and someone's trying to prevent that." The wildfires weren't just random acts of nature. They were following America's energy grid like a roadmap. Every new outbreak seemed to target areas where America was closest to achieving total energy independence, the very independence that Trump had fought so hard to achieve. "We have become a much richer country," Trump had often said, "and that's a good thing, not a bad thing." But now, as he studied the patterns of destruction, he realized that America's wealth had made it a target. Someone was using environmental disasters to attack America's energy sovereignty. The evidence was mounting. Temperature readings from affected areas showed unusual patterns. Wind directions suddenly changing without meteorological explanation. Fires starting in locations that should have been impossible to ignite naturally. All of it pointing to a frightening conclusion. These disasters were being engineered. Trump had warned about foreign interests threatening American resources. He'd been mocked for it, criticized for putting America's energy independence first. But now, as he looked at the data, at the perfectly orchestrated pattern of destruction, he realized his warnings had been more accurate than even he had imagined. Someone was waging a silent war against America's energy independence, and they were using nature itself as their weapon. The question was, who had the technology and resources to manipulate environmental disasters on such a massive scale? And more importantly, what were they planning next? Trump knew he had to act fast. With each passing day, more evidence emerged pointing to a coordinated attack on America's energy infrastructure. He gathered his most trusted advisors, experts who understood the true value of American energy independence. "When I approved Anwar," Trump explained to his team, "they said it couldn't be done. Reagan couldn't do it. Nobody could do it, but we did it because we understood what was at stake. Now someone's trying to undo everything we've accomplished." The team began analyzing weather patterns around major energy facilities. What they found was shocking. In areas where America was expanding its LNG operations, unusual weather phenomena kept occurring. Storms appearing out of nowhere, wildfires defying natural behavior, temperature anomalies that couldn't be explained by conventional science. "Look at Europe," Trump pointed to a global energy map. "They're seeking our LNG. They need our energy. But every time we try to expand our export capabilities, These natural disasters happen. It's not a coincidence. His years of experience with environmental impact statements had taught him to see patterns that others missed. The evidence was becoming impossible to ignore. Weather satellites showed unusual electromagnetic activity just before each major fire outbreak. Temperature readings indicated artificial heating patterns. Wind directions changed without meteorological explanation, always steering the fires toward crucial energy infrastructure. They laughed when I talked about American energy dominance. Trump's voice was stern as he reviewed the data. They mocked me when I said we needed to protect our resources. But I knew there were forces trying to keep America dependent on foreign energy. His team discovered something even more disturbing. The attacks weren't just targeting current infrastructure, they were targeting future development sites, places where America was planning to expand its energy operations, locations that weren't even public knowledge yet. Someone had inside information. This isn't about climate change, Trump explained to his advisors. This is about control. They're using environmental disasters as weapons. They're trying to destroy the tremendous wealth under our feet, the same wealth that had made America energy independent, that had created jobs, that had strengthened our national security. The pattern was clear now. Every major wildfire, every unusual weather event coincided perfectly with America's energy expansion plans. It was a sophisticated attack on American sovereignty, disguised as natural disasters. But Trump had seen through the deception. I want clean air, I want clean water, he repeated his familiar phrase. But I also want a wealthy country, and someone's trying to prevent that by manipulating our environment. The question now wasn't whether these attacks were coordinated, it was who had the power and technology to coordinate them. The breakthrough came when Trump connected the final dots. While reviewing satellite data from America's largest energy production sites, he discovered something that changed everything. The wildfires weren't just targeting our infrastructure, they were being used to manipulate global energy markets. We became the #1 energy producer in the world. Trump's voice was heavy with revelation. And that's when these natural disasters started happening. But look at this. He pointed to a complex web of data showing global energy prices spiking exactly when American facilities were threatened by fires. The truth was more sinister than anyone had imagined. Foreign interests threatened by America's energy independence had developed technology to manipulate weather patterns. They weren't just attacking our infrastructure, they were weaponizing the environment itself. Remember when I said windmills weren't working too well? Trump's eyes narrowed as he examined the evidence. I wasn't just talking about efficiency. I was talking about how they were distracting us from the real threat. While everyone was focused on green energy, our enemies were developing ways to control our natural disasters. The team uncovered a network of sophisticated weather manipulation devices positioned strategically around America's major energy corridors. These devices could influence temperature, wind patterns, and atmospheric conditions. The perfect tool for creating natural disasters that would cripple America's energy production. This is why I fought so hard for American energy independence, Trump explained, his voice filled with urgency. This is why I said we couldn't lose our wealth on dreams. Our enemies were planning this all along. They knew if they could control our environment, they could control our energy. And if they could control our energy, the evidence was overwhelming. Temperature data, wind patterns, electromagnetic readings, all pointed to artificial manipulation. The wildfires that had devastated California weren't just fires, they were weapons in a silent war against American energy independence. When I said I was an environmentalist, people didn't believe me. Trump's voice was firm. But I understood something they didn't. I understood that protecting our environment meant protecting it from those who would weaponize it against us. That's why I did more environmental impact statements than anybody. I was looking for exactly this kind of threat. The attacks were precisely calculated. Each disaster was timed to disrupt American energy exports when our allies needed them most. When Europe sought our LNG, suddenly pipelines were threatened. When Asia looked to American energy, mysterious fires appeared near our export facilities. This is bigger than clean air and clean water, Trump declared. This is about America's survival. about protecting the tremendous wealth under our feet from those who would destroy it. And now we have proof. Proof that our enemies are using environmental disasters as weapons in their war against American energy independence. The revelation shook the foundations of everything we thought we knew about environmental disasters. Trump's discovery wasn't just about wildfires. It was about America's future, about protecting our tremendous wealth from those who would destroy it. I've always said America has incredible wealth under its feet. Trump's voice carried the weight of vindication. Now you understand why I fought so hard to protect it, why I couldn't let our enemies destroy it with their manipulated disasters, their fake environmental concerns. The solution was clear but challenging. America needed to secure its energy infrastructure against these weather manipulation attacks. Trump's team had already begun developing countermeasures, ways to detect and prevent artificial weather patterns before they could threaten our resources. This is why I pushed for energy independence, Trump explained, his voice filled with determination. This is why I said we needed to protect our wealth. Clean air, clean water, and energy independence, you have true environmental security. Our enemies knew this. That's why they tried to stop us. The evidence Trump uncovered exposed a decades-long conspiracy to keep America energy dependent. Every blocked pipeline, every restricted drilling permit, every unexplainable natural disaster, all part of a coordinated attack on American energy sovereignty. Look at what we achieved. Trump's voice swelled with pride. We became the #1 energy producer in the world. We have the cleanest air, the cleanest water. We created jobs, wealth, security. That's what they wanted to destroy. But now we know. Now we can fight back. The plan was comprehensive. Protect America's energy infrastructure, expose the weather manipulation technology, secure our tremendous wealth for future generations. It wasn't just about stopping the attacks. It was about ensuring America's energy independence could never be threatened again. When I said I knew more about the environment than most people, they laughed. Trump's voice was resolute. But I saw what others couldn't see. I saw how our enemies were using environmental disasters as weapons, and now everyone can see it too. The truth about the wildfires had finally been exposed. They weren't just natural disasters. They were attacks on America's energy independence, on our tremendous wealth, on our very future. But thanks to Trump's unique understanding of both environmental impact statements and energy infrastructure, the plot had been uncovered. This is about more than just clean air and clean water, Trump concluded. This is about protecting America's wealth, America's future, America's independence. And now that we know the truth, we can fight back. We can protect what we've built. We can keep America energy independent, no matter what weapons our enemies try to use against us. The story I just shared with you isn't just about Donald Trump's discovery. It's about the future of American energy independence, about protecting our tremendous wealth from those who would destroy it through engineered environmental disasters. Think about it. Every time you hear about a wildfire threatening our energy infrastructure, every time you see unexplainable weather patterns near our crucial resources, ask yourself, is this really natural? Or is this another attempt to undermine America's energy independence? Trump saw what others couldn't or wouldn't see. He understood that true environmental protection meant more than just clean air and clean water. It meant protecting our resources from those who would weaponize nature against us. But here's the real question I want you to consider. If they could manipulate wildfires to target our energy infrastructure, what else are they capable of? What other natural disasters might actually be weapons in this silent war against American energy independence? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about Trump's discovery? Have you noticed any suspicious patterns in recent environmental disasters near our energy facilities? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. In our next video, we'll dive deeper into the technology behind these weather manipulation attacks and reveal even more shocking evidence that Trump uncovered about our enemies' attempts to control American energy. Remember what Trump always said, the wealth is under our feet. Now you know why our enemies are so desperate to destroy it, but together we can expose the truth and protect America's energy independence. This is Elite Chronicles, bringing you the stories they don't want you to know. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay informed, and keep questioning everything you see. The truth is out there, hiding in plain sight.